The purpose of this demonstration is to review how inventory cycle counts work in Odoo's version 14. So, just so you're familiar, a cycle count is an operation performed by a company where they manually check the inventory on hand, the physical inventory that is, and they compare that inventory that they physically count to the inventory described in the system. And they want to match that to ensure that what is happening in real life is in fact being reflected in the system. If there is a discrepancy, then of course they record it in order to realign the system with the reality that is taking place in the on the inventory floor. Okay, so how does that work in Odoo? Very simple. You go to the inventory application, you go to operations, you go to inventory adjustments. You select inventory adjustments. Here you can see all of the adjustments that have happened in the past, and we can always group by, right, the inventory date by month and even by day if we want to see a drop down of all of these adjustments that were made over time. But for us, we will create a brand new one today. And I can obviously name this if I want. So for example, November, we'll call this the 7th. I can also select specific products that I want to adjust. Or, right, I could just say just these two products, or I could leave it blank and it will select all the products. Here I could say I want to also include products that are at 0 or in the negatives. Not that you ever want to have products in the negative, but in the event that you ever did, they would be included in this list, and you can always hover over it to see where you're at. The accounting date you can push here. If you hover over this will tell you date at which the accounting entries will be created in case of automatic inventory valuation. So it's the date at which the entries would be created in the event that you have an automated inventory valuation strategy in play. Company, this is because I'm in a multi-company environment in this demo database, no big deal. Counted quantities, this will tell you want to default to the stock at hand or default to 0. We'll default to stock at hand. And of course you can hover over that and see the meaning behind it. Now we save it, and at this point what we'll do is we can go in and start our actual inventory count. And in this case, all of the products have been selected. Now you'll always have the option, if you want, you could group by a location. If you have locations that you want to break your inventory counts out into, for example, you may do product categories. You'll also have the option to group by that as well. For example, I only want to count my rentable products. You'll see that drop down listed here. Okay, but more importantly, let's look at how this is laid out. So you have all your products listed here. And if you had lot serial numbers, you'll see some have lots affiliated with them, not all. You'll be able to list those here. Listed in this column is the quantity on hand. So this is what the system thinks you have on hand. If you pulled up an inventory report to look at your stock on hand or to look at a valuation of your stock on hand, it would read X or this number of units per each line you see. Here is the counted option. So as you're going through and counting your inventory, you will be able to edit this field. You'll see you cannot edit this field because this is what the system thinks you have. But this is what you actually have. And what you can do is go through each line and update the actual quantity. And when you do, it will calculate the difference here. If you select on these 3 dots, you'll see that there are also some other fields you can pull if you want. Now, you'll see you can go through and do this for all of your items, and the difference will be recorded. Now, what I'll do in this case is I can validate the inventory when I'm done with my count. When I click validate, it actually processes this particular adjustment, and I have 2 new things I can see. One is it'll show me a list of the product moves that have occurred as a result of this adjustment being made. This adjustment, as you can see, moved from our virtual location to stock 2 units of the customizable desk. And it did it at this day and time. And if I want, I could also see the company, status, etc. So as you know, it read 65 units on hand, and I updated the stock counted to 67, meaning we needed to add 2 units to stock. And if I go look at my inventory report and I look at the customizable desk, you'll see we're now at 67. So the adjustment was in fact made successfully. If I go back to my inventory adjustment here and I look at the one I just did, I can also print a count sheet. The count sheet is going to, in this case, print out a document. Actually, I need to save this. It's just a template in the demo database that I have to set up. Once you do it once, and it essentially saves as your default looking forward. But you'll see the count sheet here is an overview that I can use to show exactly what the on-hand quantity was, for example, 65, and what the counted was. So it's essentially, it's a report that details what this adjustment consisted of for reporting purposes, for administration purposes, etc. Okay, so that in a nutshell is the overview of our inventory cycle count functionality. If you have any additional questions or you'd like to learn more about this functionality, you can contact me. That's Nicholas Kaczynski at, you can just type in nko@odoo.com, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks so much. Have a great day.